Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Southern Gal True Crime. It is Monday, so of course we have our Missing Person Monday episode. I have 5 missing person cold cases to share with you, and all these have a theme, and I'll get into that when we get into the cases. They all have a common denominator, a common factor. Um, if this is your first time visiting, thanks for dropping in and hanging out with me for a little bit. I share um, missing persons cold cases, and some current true crime in the news. I try to stick to, on this channel, I kind of do mostly the cases that don't get the big media attention, to try to get the information out, because no matter, in my heart, no matter how big or small the case is, they're all important. So I try to bring you the ones that don't get a lot of attention, because these victims and their families deserve justice, and to know what happened, and just to keep their name out there so that they're never forgotten. All right. But first, as always, if I can get my slides going, I always feature there we go, our featured missing person of the night. And this information comes, I found it on the Morgan Nick Foundation Facebook page. And I will put a link to it in the description box. So I implore you to please share this information to get it out to as many people as possible. So tonight's featured person is Luis Hernandez. He went missing from Fort Smith, Arkansas on October 22nd. So about 3 weeks ago, if I'm doing my math right, which I may not be, because once again, I film these videos late at night, and sometimes my brain doesn't work as fast as it usually does. But anyway, so he is just 17 years old. He's 5'8", 230 pounds, white male, brown hair, black eyes. He was last seen in Fort Smith. So if you have any information about Luis or his disappearance, please contact the Fort Smith Police Department at 479-709-5100. Like I said, I will put a link to this information. Please share it. The more it gets shared, the more it gets out there to as many people as we can. That's the purpose of bringing you this information, to try to help do a little part in trying to locate this young man. All right, so our 5 cases for tonight. I told you they had a theme, a common denominator, and they are all classified as non-family abductions. In most of them, in a couple of them, there are a suspect or suspects. In one of them, there was a witness or witnesses to the abduction, but most of them, they just my cat just busted in here. He's running amok. Anyway, we'll continue. Just ignore him if you hear him in the background. What are you doing? I'm telling you, my cat's a crackhead. Anyway, back to the cases. But aside from those cases with the one possible suspect and the one with the witness, most of them, they just disappeared, and without a trace, or into thin air. And there's not really a whole lot of information, but I will give you the information that I do have, and all the information, most of the information, comes from the Charley Project, and I will put a link to the Charley Project in the description box. I always put a link to all the sources I use in the can't talk once again tonight. I always put all my sources I use, put links in the description box, so you can go back and read all the articles and stuff that I get this information from. So I'll quit babbling, and we will get to the cases. So our first case is Alan Briscoe Jr. He, yes, may I help you, sir? He's back. And he's gone again. Okay. Alan Briscoe Jr. He went missing on November 13th, 1985 from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And like I said, all these cases are classified non-family abductions. He is a black male. He was just 16 years old when he went missing. So if he were alive today, he would be 53. At the time he disappeared, he was 5'8" and around 140 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black jacket and blue jeans. He had black hair, brown eyes. It says he had a lump on his left shoulder, a scar on his forehead. He was bow-legged. One of his front teeth was chipped or cracked at the time of his disappearance, and his nicknames were Squeak or Squeaky. So he was last seen, like I said, in Philadelphia on December 13th, 1985. It says that every day his mother would call home from work at around 7:30 a.m. to make sure that he and his sister were awake and getting ready to go to school. But when she called that morning, no one answered the phone. It said that she called again at 3:30 p.m., which was an hour after school let out, and no one answered. She was working 2 jobs at the time, and so she didn't arrive home until 11:30 that night. And when she arrived home, she discovered that Alan's sister had to come home at about 11 p.m., but she was not able to get into the house because apparently it was locked, and his sister had the key, and he did not have it. Or, oh no, he had the key, and his sister did not have a key to get in. So she had gone to their grandmother's home to stay until either Alan came home or their mom came home to so she would be able to get into the house. And of course, Alan wasn't there, and he was never seen or heard from again. Oh, come on. So there were reports that the school that Alan and his sister attended let out early on the day that he disappeared. His mother doesn't believe that he went to school at all that day. But police records indicated that he was at school at some point during that day, along with a friend. And in one of the articles I read, it said that they attended some classes, and then they either the school let out early or they just skipped out on the rest of the classes. They got onto the subway, just riding around Philadelphia all day, and then they came back to their own neighborhood by bus. So the friend that he was with, riding around on the bus, said that he last saw Alan exiting the bus at Woodland Avenue. And here you can see I did a search on Google Maps and just give you an idea of where Woodland Avenue. We got Woodland Avenue, Cobbs Creek Parkway. So the friend said Alan got off the bus at Woodland Avenue, and Alan told him that he was going to go see a female friend. So I don't know if it was just a friend, a girlfriend, somebody he was interested in. But this was the last confirmed sighting of Alan. So this picture here is an age progression to age 51. So if he were still alive, this is what he would possibly look like. Authorities at the time, and I'm assuming now, do not believe that he ran away. He had left all his clothes behind. He left $50 behind that his mother had given him as a birthday present. And he had not talked about any plans to leave home or anything of that nature. And I'm assuming, since they said that they didn't believe he ran away, that he wasn't having any problems at home with parents or anything that may have been going on that would make him want to run away. That's just my opinion or my assumption. His mother stated that in 1985, his hobbies included listening to rap music, playing basketball. She described him as a picky eater. Um, Now, in the years since he's disappeared, authorities have attempted to re-interview some of his friends, but just because of how much time has passed, many of them, they weren't able to locate any of the friends that saw him that day, or just friends in general, um, because they like to talk to and watching other creators on YouTube that professionals that know what they're talking about, um, say that if you want to, that when you have a missing person, especially in these cold cases, that you want to talk. Of course, you want to talk to the family, but if you want to find out really truly what's going on in the person's life that is missing, you talk to their friends, because most people, especially teenagers, are going to tell their friends stuff that they would not tell their parents, especially any problems they're having, or things of that nature. So I'm sure that's what they wanted. One of the reasons that they wanted to talk to friends, just to see if Alan had maybe had something going on that he hadn't told his parents about, but maybe told his friends about. Like I said, once again, that's just my opinion. Just going through my mind of my sticky notes I keep when I'm reading through these cases. One second, get a drink. Now, authorities have stated that they think that his case may possibly be linked to the disappearance of Christine Green. Now, she also was a student at the same high school that Alan attended, although I think it said they were a year or two apart. She disappeared also in 1985. Neither case has been solved. And the next case I want to bring to you is the Christine Green case, since they think they could possibly be linked. So if you have any information regarding Alan or his disappearance, you can contact the Philadelphia Police Department at 215-685-1173. Okay, so we mentioned Christine Green and the possible connection to Alan's disappearance. So Christine went missing in April of 1985, April 23rd. So there was about an 8-month span of time between the disappearances. Now, when I first was reading Alan's case, when they said that that they thought these two cases could be connected, I went back to where it said when he got off the bus that he told his friend that he was going to visit a female friend. Then I was thinking, well, maybe this Christine Green was the female friend that he was going to visit, and maybe they got together and did run away, or they were out together and something happened to both of them. But then I looked, and when she disappeared, and there was the 8-month gap, so that kind of blew that theory in my mind. So anyway, so she disappeared April 23rd, 1985 from Philadelphia. She was a Black female. She was also 16 years old. So if she was still alive today, she would be 54. At the time she disappeared, she was about 5 foot tall and 90 pounds. So she was a tiny girl. She was last seen wearing a pink blouse, a blue vest, jeans, and black shoes. Now, interesting about this, it says that she may have been pregnant at the time of her disappearance, but this wasn't confirmed. She had also had her left kidney removed in 1984. And it says that if she had developed a fever, she would have needed medication. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the having one of the kidneys removed, or what the case may be. So when I read the part about her possibly being pregnant, not confirmed, I went back again because they're talking about the connection. Possibly, I thought, well, maybe possibly, she and Alan were dating or whatever, and she got pregnant and maybe ran away, but I don't know. That's a stretch. It just popped into my head for a brief second. And then I thought, maybe not. But I would love to know what you guys think. So please leave a comment. Just always be respectful of the victims' families, and each other. She had black hair, brown eyes. Her nicknames were Tina and Dinky. And some agencies spell her last name. Well, says her last name, but it'll be her first name, Christine, with 2 E's at the end. She has a surgical scar on her left side, from the I can't pronounce it, but from where she had her kidney removed. So that's where the scar came from. So she was last seen leaving her home, which was on Greenway Avenue, at 8 a.m. on April 23rd, 1985. She was supposed to catch the Woodland Avenue trolley and go to Bartram High School, which was, as I stated before, the same high school that Alan just attended. She took the trolley, but she never arrived at school. And she was never seen again. So somewhere between, now it doesn't say, it just says she was supposed to catch the trolley. Unknown, at least in the information that I have here, if she made it onto the trolley. So she either didn't make it onto the trolley and she went somewhere else, or was abducted somewhere around where she was supposed to catch the trolley at, or she did get on the trolley, but got off maybe at a stop before she made it to the school for one reason or another. Or she did make it to the school and she just didn't go inside the school. All sorts of possibilities. It said that she was a good student. She didn't have a history of being late or absent from school. She was close to her 7 siblings and her parents. And at the time, her mother was ill and bedridden. So I'm assuming she helped take care of her mother, and possibly her siblings. It didn't say if she was older or younger or in between the siblings. So it's possible that she helped take care of her mom and her siblings. This could be, like I said, with the information, it could be a possible runaway. To me, the big thing in this case is if she was pregnant, that could have something to do with possibly she ran away, or if she was pregnant, she and the father of the baby took off. But like I said, this information that I got from Charley Project didn't go into detail about that. So, but I will look into it when I get time. When I get time, I try to go and look deeper into some of these cases that I just give the basic information from, and I try to see if I can dig up some more information. So if I find any information about this, I will bring it to you. So as I said, there is speculation that she did run away due to her possible pregnancy, but her family and loved ones stated that she had never run away before, and she always kept her family informed of her whereabouts. Well, that's probably true, but if she was pregnant, that would make it a whole different situation. When you're young, you're 16, and you find out you're pregnant, it will make you do things that you've never done before, such as run away or whatever the case may be. So she is still listed as endangered and endangered runaway with some agencies, but police believe her case may be related to the Alan Briscoe case that we talked about, who vanished in '85. Like I said, there's an eight-month gap between their disappearances, and of course, both of them are unsolved. I'm sorry, but my voice is so scratchy tonight. So if you have any information about Christine or her disappearance, you can call the Philadelphia Police Department at 215-685-1173. And now I did try to search and find some more information about why the police thought that these cases could be linked. And the only thing that I found, this comes from Lipstick Alley, which I believe is like either a true crime podcast or a website. And it just said that there was some speculation that the cases could be related to that of Christine, who went missing in April of '85, but they have never been able to confirm any links between the two cases. Christine was also 16 years old when she went missing, but it is unclear if she and Alan knew each other, as they were not in the same grade at school. Police believe that the cases could possibly be connected since their disappearances were only 8 months apart, but they lack any firm evidence to support this theory. Excuse me. So to me, that's, kind of a thin line to be trying to connect, but I guess it would be kind of strange to have two 16-year-olds disappear from the same town 8 months apart. So I can understand why they would at least look into it and consider that possibility. All right, next we have Richard Ray Barnett. He went missing on August 31st of 1982 from Grangeville, Idaho. He's a white male. He was only two years old when he went missing. And if he were alive today, he would be 43. At the time he went missing, he was just 3 feet tall, 32 pounds. He was lost my place. Okay. Last known clothing he was wearing was a red and blue coveralls, a pajama top, and cowboy boots. So that's typical of a 2-year-old. So got some overalls, a pajama top, and then cowboy boots. Just looking at that little picture of his little face just breaks my heart. These missing children cases just they get to me more than all cases that I feature get to me. But when it comes to the kids, it just hurts a little bit more. Okay, so he had hip braces on both legs to correct a bow-legged condition, and the braces were removed 6 months prior to his disappearance. He had brown hair, hazel eyes. He had a hairline scar over his left eye and a mark below that eye. His nickname was Ricky, and some agencies list his eye color as brown instead of hazel. But hazel and brown they could be close. I mean, they could be mistaken. Hazel eyes are more of a greenish blue color, but whatever the case may be, either brown or hazel eyes. So when Richard went missing, he was actually visiting his paternal grandparents' home, which was on Hillcrest Farm. It was a dairy farm in Grangeville. It was 7 miles north of Grangeville and then encompassed several hundred acres. So we're talking about a big, big farm. Now, I lived on a farm all my life. Not, what did it say, 700 or several hundred acres. I don't know exactly how many acres we have, but I don't think it's 700. But nonetheless, that's a lot of space for a child to get lost in, possibly, if this wasn't an abduction. Um, Richard had been staying there for a couple of weeks with his father, and his mother was in southern Idaho. So I don't know if the parents were separated at the time, and that's why his father and Richard were staying at his parents' house, and the mom was in Idaho, or if she had family in Idaho, or I don't know what that situation was. So we'll just have to leave it at that and not try not to speculate. So Richard was last seen sitting in a hay wagon in front of one of the chicken barns. And it said there were dozens of workers at the time were unloading a delivery of chickens at the time that he disappeared. His family started searching for him just only about 15 minutes after they noticed that he was missing. But no one found any clues as to where he was. And at 10:30 a.m., they called the police. And I don't think it gave an exact time of when they noticed he was missing. But like I said, it was only about 15 minutes after they noticed he was missing. Now, he could have been gone for longer than, the 15 minutes that they noticed that he was missing. But be that as it may, police were called at 10:30. They brought in bloodhounds to track his scent, and his scent was tracked to a fence line on the northwest part of the farm, and then they lost the trail. They did an extensive 4-day search of the farm involving 250 volunteers, but they didn't find any sign of Richard or any kind of evidence of what may have happened to him. So, see if I have anything else on it. Yeah, okay, so we'll go back. Wrong way. So if this, in my opinion, if this was not an abduction, he could possibly have wandered off into this vast expanse of land they had and got lost, had an accident and passed away from an accidental death, got lost, succumbed to the elements. If they said it was in August. So if it was in August, I don't know about August in Idaho. I know August in Arkansas, it's not cold. It's very, very hot. But if anybody from Idaho or that area knows about how hot or cold it would be, please let me know in the comments. So to me, this could either be, like I said, he got lost wandering around, or he was abducted. Now, interestingly, his grandparents, Waldo and Martha McCord, were suspects in his disappearance for almost 20 years after. And apparently they thought, or they were suspicious because supposedly Martha, the grandmother, was acting oddly. And although she took a polygraph exam, the results were inconclusive. She and her husband apparently disliked Richard's mother. So that might be part of the reason that Richard and his father were staying at his parents' house, and the mother was in Idaho. Now, like I said, I don't know for sure. I'm just theorizing possibilities. So both of them disliked the mother and had wanted someone else to raise Richard. So apparently, and it was theorized that the grandparents secretly placed him in an underground adoption ring. Now, hope to God that did not happen. But you would think that even if the grandparents didn't like Richard's mother, I would think that they would either keep him and raise him themselves with Richard's father, unless I don't know anything about his personality or his proclivities. I just don't. To me, the theory about the grandparents selling him to an underground adoption ring, I don't know about that. I that just seems a little, in my opinion, a little far-fetched. But like I said, we don't know for sure. We don't have all the information that the police have, obviously. So they may have known something that they didn't release to the public. So apparently in 2001, Martha, the grandmother, took another polygraph test, and she passed that polygraph test, and she was cleared of any involvement in the case. Waldo, who was the grandfather, also agreed to take a polygraph, but he passed away before the exam could take place. So another theory is that one of the temporary workers at the farm was involved in his disappearance. But police could not find any evidence that definitively implicated any of the workers. So that's another possibility. So we have, at least in my theories, he either wandered away and got lost and accidental death, or succumbed to being out in the weather. He was abducted either by, if he was abducted, I was going to say by a stranger passing through, but this, if it was all this land area, I'm assuming it was going to be in a very rural area where you would basically have to kind of know the area, be from the area. So if he was abducted, I would agree with the theory that it could be one of the temporary workers that was working on the farm, delivering the chickens. So, but please feel free to let me know what you guys think. I welcome everybody's comments, because I always say in all my videos, most of y'all out there are smarter than I am, and get your noggins working better than mine does, and figure out some things that I might not have thought of. Oh, come on. So as of, it doesn't give a date, but it says Richard's parents now live in Oregon, and his mother has been active in the search for him. And of course, his disappearance is unsolved. The picture you see there is an age progression to 40, which is about the age he would be now, 40 to 45. If he, maybe he's out there somewhere, hopefully. So if you have any information on this case, you can call the Idaho County Sheriff's Department at 208-983-1100. All right. Next, we have another very young child, another 2-year-old, Jason Keith Cannon. Little Jason went missing on March 16th, 1983 from Boise, Idaho. He was a white male, like I said, 2 years old when he disappeared. So if he was alive today, he would also be around 43 years old. At the time he disappeared, he was about 3 feet tall, 37 pounds. He was last seen wearing a blue and yellow shirt, blue bib overalls, and black sneakers. He had blonde hair, brown eyes. He had a 1-inch scar over his eye, 2 moles on his neck, and possibly more on his back. And sometimes I've had questions about, people comment and say, well, why do you give all what he looked like, all this information? It's been so many years. But once again, going back to other YouTube creators that I watch, the professionals, the cold case detectives, former law enforcement, they always say the smallest information, especially in cold cases, any little tidbits of information help. They may jog somebody's memory, and things of that nature. So that's why I give all the information. All right. So Jason was last seen on the front porch of his residence in Boise at around 2 p.m. on March 16th, 1983. His mother was supervising him outside, but she went inside the house for just a few minutes to get his jacket. When she came back outside, he had disappeared. He was never heard or seen or heard from again, and a search of the area turned up absolutely no sign of him. So authorities believe that he was abducted by a non-family member, and of course his case is unsolved. Now this one, that very little information on this one, but like I said, I bring you all the information I can, because any little bit of information helps. So if you have any information, you can contact the Boise Police Department at 208-377-6606 or 6500. Oh, going backwards. All right. And we have Tanetta Yvette Carlisle. She went missing on March 16th. There's a lot of these that are went missing in March. I think this is the third one, I believe, in a row that went missing in March. But she went missing on March 16th, 1989 from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Once again, non-family abduction. This is the theme or the common factor in all these cases. She was a black female. She was 15 years old. So if she were alive today, she would be 50. At the time she disappeared, she was 5'1", 95 pounds. She was a small girl. She was last seen wearing a pink and white striped blouse, a denim skirt, and white sneakers. There's an associated vehicle, which we will get to, a tan and yellow vehicle with Tennessee license plates. Tanetta had black hair, brown eyes. Her hair was curly and trimmed short on the top and sides and longer in the back at the time that she disappeared. Her ears were pierced. She had it says almost almond-shaped eyes. And she's just a gorgeous, gorgeous girl. That picture it breaks my heart when I look at it. Especially those eyes. Such sweet, sweet eyes. And several of her teeth were capped or have fillings. So she was last seen walking home from City High School, where she was a freshman at the time, and this was at approximately almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon after school let out. She was headed to her family's residence, which it says was in the 600 block of Hamilton Avenue. So this is one that does have a witness to the abduction. So a witness observed Tanetta's abduction approximately half a block from her home. So that is just, once again, disturbing and terrifying to me that she could be snatched, or anybody could be snatched half a block from being home. I mean, she was almost there, almost home, and just like that. So this was at approximately 3 p.m. A woman on Ruth Street, which is near Hamilton Avenue, glanced up the hill and was watching her walking down the street. She said that several unidentified suspects jumped out of a tan and yellow vehicle, which is a vehicle I described in the basic information, with the Tennessee license plate, and they forcibly pulled Tanetta inside the vehicle and then drove away. So this was a most definite abduction. The witnesses also told authorities that she and her husband chased the vehicle. They called police, and they gave the police the license plate number of the truck, which was excellent. And it didn't say in this information if they were able to trace the license plate back to any specific person, because a lot of times people will steal license plates from one vehicle and put it on a different vehicle. That happens all the time. So Tanetta's mother filed a missing child report with authorities 8 hours later when her daughter failed to return home from school. And the missing child report and the abduction report were not connected for 2 days. So I was wondering, until I read that part, if they had a witness to this abduction and it was reported to the police, how did it take 2 days to connect this missing person report with this abduction report? This kind of thing, and I'm not judging. I'm police do the best they can, but that just infuriates me when stuff like this happens. Could have been a simple mistake, but in this kind of work, you have to be meticulous. But anyway, I'm not gonna get on that subject because I do not want to offend anybody. I respect law enforcement absolutely, unless they do something that makes them not deserving of respect. But anyway, as the case is, not connected for 2 days, so they had a 2-day, 48-hour disadvantage in starting to look for Tanetta. And they say the first 48, which is the TV show I love that show. First 48 hours are the most critical when it comes to missing persons. So, oh yeah, I forgot. It's been a minute since I made the slideshow. I forgot. So the license plate number was connected back to a vehicle that was involved in the abduction. Was traced back to a man named Jeffrey Jones. So Mr. Jones was previously convicted of SA and aggravated SA, and he served 8 years in prison. He was released about a year before Tanetta disappeared. Authorities determined that he had assaulted another woman who lived in his apartment complex just 2 months before Tanetta was last seen. He took his own life on March 18th. His body was found inside his van, and this was 2 days after Tanetta was last seen. And his cause of death was carbon monoxide poisoning. So to me, in my opinion, that's a big red flag. Could be a coincidence, but then again, as Joe Kenda says, he doesn't believe in coincidences. To me, like I said, and I always say this could be something, could be nothing. To me, in my opinion, it's something. He had a history of violence towards women, and he decided to take his own life just 2 days after Tanetta disappeared. So, please let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to know you guys' opinion of whether you think Mr. Jones could possibly have had anything to do with Tanetta's disappearance. So there has been no trace of Tanetta since that time. There were rumors that she was forced into prostitution and possibly taken to California. I don't think anything that I read, it was never confirmed. It was just suspected. It says that she enjoyed eating pizza and fast food. She liked rap music. At the time, in 1989, she liked the artist Bobby Brown. Of course, her case is unsolved. So if you have any information about Tanetta or her disappearance, you can contact the Chattanooga Police Department at 615-698-9752. All right, and that was our last case. All right, so like I said, please comment and let me know what you think about any of these cases that I shared with you, your theories or what you think might have happened. Please like, comment, share it. The more likes, comments, and shares, the more it gets pushed out to more people, and the more people that see it, the better, because that's the goal of doing these videos, is to get this information out about these victims out to as many people as possible to help keep their names alive, keep their memories alive, and hopefully maybe jog somebody's memory and generate interest in the case, and try to bring some closure and some justice for these victims. All right. So that, like I said, that is all I have for you tonight. If you found this video informative, interesting, please give it a thumbs up. That also helps in the algorithm. to get it out to more people. If first, like I said, if it's your first time here, if you like what I do here, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell to all, so you'll be notified when I upload videos. I upload 2 to 3 times a week. Monday is Missing Person Monday, like today. Friday I do a case of the week, and then on Wednesdays I'll do, if I have time to get a video recorded. I'll do just some random true crime related story, or if there's any breaking news about any current true cases that are going on. Right now there's a lot. You got the Kobergers going on, you got Rex Heuermann going on, you got the Delphi case, developments in that. So and I might do a video maybe sometime this week, or a live stream if I can find the time to do it. I think I am going to do a live stream Sunday, because I have some information I want to bring to you guys about a video series that I'm working on about a particular case. So we may talk a little bit about some of the true crime, current true crime that's happening in the news lately. So until then, please take care of yourselves. Be careful out there. Take care of each other, so we can all make it through this life safely. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.